Make Beauty is a really cool minimalist makeup brand, but they also like to have a lot of fun with their eye launches, which makes me really excited. So when I got this in the mail, which are their new multi-chromatic metal reflecting eyeshadows, we have to try them for a video. I did not know these were coming out, so when I got them, I saw this imagery, I saw the gold, I was like, I don't know what this is, but I'm putting it on immediately. I have 6 shades to try on and review for you today, so we're gonna have some fun and see if these babies are worth it. Let's go ahead and start with the details of these eyeshadows, shall we? These are the Make Beauty Multi-Chromatic Metal Reflecting Eyeshadows. Now, these are described as a highly pigmented multi-chrome eyeshadow that adds luminous color to eyes with a foiled metallic finish, formulated with treated micas, reflective pearls, and conditioning lipids that provide a creamy texture for buildable dimensional eye look. It says to swipe onto eyelids with fingers or a brush, blend until desired look is achieved. We also have a new eyeshadow brush and a precision eye smudger to try out. So there are 12 shades total. We have 6 shades today to try out. This card is really cool that came in the little PR box. They were kind enough to send this to me. Thanks, Make Beauty. But yeah, I am really intrigued to see what these look like on the eyes. So some of you have commented on the community post when I posted about these newly launching, the fact that they're called multi-chromatic, but they're not really like a shifty type of eyeshadow, which I think multi-chromatic technically just means that there's 2 different colors within it, which when you look at the shadows, they do have 2 different chromes in them. So we'll see if the multi-chrome of this actually shows up on the lids, but I definitely understand that comment. It's slightly misleading that it might seem like it's a multi-chromatic, like shifty eyeshadow, when in reality it's not really what it is. It's just like a very metallic, reflecting type of look. If you don't see my community post, just make sure to subscribe and turn on your post notifications and they should show up. I'm always posting about new makeup and I really do take into consideration the comments that you make over there and your input. Just like I mentioned here, like that was a really good thing to point out that I didn't even necessarily notice, but they're called multi-chromatic and they're not really like a shifty eyeshadow. Just to start with packaging, they come with this gray top and then gold bottom. Make Beauty has some really nice packaging. They feel quite luxurious and you do actually get a nice mirror on the inside as well. And then when you open them up, they do look really beautiful. So they all seem to have this sort of like, most of them have the white added in there as the multi-chrome. This is the shade Quartz. I'll start with the more neutral shades and we'll swatch our way up to the bold ones. But this is the one that caught my eye. It just looks like a really gorgeous cool tone. So this is the only one I've swatched. I haven't swatched any of the other ones, so the rest will sort of be a surprise. So let me just go in with my finger. That looks really pretty, super creamy. Let's do a swatch here. Whoa, these almost feel like a cream. They did say they had those lipids in there, so maybe that's what is making it so creamy. That's gorgeous. So here is the shade Quartz. It's not quite as cool toned, it's just a really pretty like purpley grayish brown. The next neutral we have here is Glaze, which looks like it's a little bit more of a champagne shade. The pans, when I'm like sort of rubbing my finger in, they are shifting a little bit. I wonder if you could pop these out. Oh, interesting. So it looks like they're just magnetic, so you could totally just depot these and put them in a palette if you wanted to, and they just snap back in. I really like that. So this is the, what's this shade called? The Glaze shade. Just as creamy as the other one. Really gorgeous neutral champagne. I'm loving the sheen that these have. Very high shine finish. So that's the shade Glaze again. Next, let's move into this shade, which looks really interesting. This is called Blaze. So like the other ones where they have that sort of white pigment in them, this one seems to have a little bit of the white, but it also looks like it has a gold pigment in there. So I'm interested to see how that pulls. I can kind of see like the gold pigment there. Let's do a swatch. Ooh, wow, that is gorgeous. So far I'm really amazed by how smooth and basically how even the pigment is. Like it's kind of giving the look of a cream or metallic shadow with how packed with pigment it looks, but also has that really smooth like sheeny quality to it. I don't think sheeny is a word, but it is now. Next, I love the purple eyeshadow. So this one is Purple Haze. Again, this one looks like it just has that purple base with some lighter pigment in it. there's Purple Haze. I'm not even picking up a ton of product, like I'm kind of just rubbing my finger in it a little bit, and this is the amount of pigment that I'm getting out of them, so it makes me excited to see how these are going to show up on the lid. They don't seem like they're gonna have fallout because they are so just creamy and metallic. Like, that's just gorgeous, but time will tell. So that's shade Purple Haze. Next, we're getting into some deeper colors. This one is Stardust. This looks really unique and gorgeous. So this has that darker pigment again, but looking closer, it has a light green pigment and also like a silvery white pigment. Hello, focus. Okay, there it is. She's really pretty. So once you rub your finger in it, I want to show you that it does start to sort of melt together, the pigments. So that one is Stardust. It's a really rich, deep emerald green. If you have like medium skin, I think this would be gorgeous, especially if you have like brown or green in your eyes. And then last but not least, we have the shade Onyx, which is this very deep, rich black shade. Again, it looks like it just has that silvery white pigment in it. I'm wondering if this is going to be like a navy or a black. Ooh, it looks more like a navy. This one isn't pulling, I feel like, as reflective as the others. It could be just because it's a dark shade, it doesn't sort of have as much reflect in it. I'm feeling like this top row is catching my attention. That green is beautiful, but decisions. That one was Onyx, by the way. So we also have some new brushes here. First is their all over shadow brush, which is this really nice round shape. It's quite fluffy though, so I'm interested to see how that would apply the shadow. And then we also have the Precision Eye Smudger, which is just a nice little pointed dense brush. I love brushes with this shape. I do have an eye primer on, by the way. This is the Ulta Beauty Matte Eye Primer. Love this, super affordable. Swatches are just on my bare skin though, so we'll see if there's really any like notable difference when applied over an eye primer, but I'm impressed with the application and how smooth and creamy they are. Don't think we're gonna have an issue. Now is the hard part, which is I have to pick what shades to use. Before we get into the eye look, let me know below what your favorite shade is out of all 6 of these. I would love to know. As someone who loves cool tones, these first 2 in that purple are really calling my name. That green is gorgeous as well. I might have to just use these in another video so we can test all of them, but I think I'm gonna try to use all 3 of these in one look. I also just really want to test the neutrals because I feel like for most of you that's probably maybe the shades that you're most interested in and would get the most use out of. So those shades are Quartz, which is that taupey gray, Glaze, which is that really pretty neutral champagne, and then we also have Purple Haze, which is the deep purple. I think I'm gonna start with the Glaze shade, which is the most neutral. Let's try this fluffy brush. I'm gonna start by dragging this onto the shadow. I wonder if this is gonna be like as pigmented as the finger swatches. Usually with a fluffier brush, that's not the case, but let's see. I'm gonna start this on the inner corner. So it is showing up. I don't think that's nearly as pigmented as if you were to use your finger, just because your finger does pick up more product. But even with the fluffy brush, I don't see any fallout, which is quite amazing. Usually if I use a brush for eyeshadow, I'm getting fallout. I also have a cream highlight on today, so if there's fallout, we're gonna notice it and it's probably gonna be an issue. But now I just really wanna use my finger just to amp up this shade. Yeah, that's so much better. I always like applying metallics with my finger. I think you just get a really nice payoff if you're looking for a super shiny look. And I'm just putting this right in the inner corners. This is a really gorgeous everyday shadow. I could totally just see myself wearing this all over the lid with an eyeliner or maybe just on its own. It would be gorgeous. And I'm gonna go back in with this brush and just soften up the edges. I think this has a really beautiful undertone where it's kind of a true neutral champagne. I usually like very cool tones, and I don't feel like this is pulling too warm. So I think whether you like warm or cool tones, this is like a crowd pleaser. And then we have this shade, which I think I'm the most excited about, which is Quartz. I'm also gonna use my finger for this, and I'm gonna apply this on the center and outer half, pigment, and then taking that fluffier brush just to soften it into that other shade. I'm also gonna work it a little bit into my crease. I think full metallic eyeshadow looks can actually be really pretty as long as they're using a nice creamy formula. So far these are blending so well. Like I'm not getting any flaking or fallout. Oh, I do think I have a little speck of fallout there. But like even going in with a brush, performing a lot better than a lot of other metallics I've tried. That's so pretty. I love this shade. Let's go ahead and do the same over here. You do get a nice rich payoff just with one swipe into the pan with your finger. And then if you want to soften it, you could easily just go in, work it with a brush. These are called what? Metal reflecting eyeshadow. I kind of get that vibe. It's giving me like very metallic metal vibes. I think these two are actually looking really gorgeous together. I just love how smooth. They have this interesting texture to them, but they also look really smooth. So it's just an interesting eyeshadow to look at that's really eye-catching. You know me, you watch my channel, I love a smooth metallic. I'm not really too much into like a super glittery vibe for every day. So I think these are so fun, but still have that everyday wearability, which is just that like sweet spot in makeup that I love. It's like everyday makeup, but it's fun. Then we also have to go in with this purple shade, and I'm gonna take the eye smudger. I think I'm gonna try to do like a little smoky wing with this and just see how that goes. So I'm gonna get that on the smudger. I'm gonna start by dabbing it on to prevent fallout, and then we will really blend it out. These are so nice and richly pigmented. I don't even think the colors are getting lost within each other. You can still differentiate between them. I would totally wear this on its own just as a liner. Make Beauty makes some really cool metallic liners. Maybe we will use those today. Okay, with that we definitely have a little bit of fallout, which usually happens with these smudger brushes, and just when you're working on the lash line, it tends to flick product onto the face. We'll see how easy it is to remove. Next, I'm going to clean off this brush a little bit. I want to go back into the Quartz shade, which is that grayish taupe. I just want to see if we can work this on the lower lash line. I'm also going to work a little bit of the purple haze shade just right on the outer corner. I kind of feel like we could go in with this onyx shade because it's a nice deep sort of bluish black, just to intensify the eyeliner even more. One of my favorite little tricks if you're doing something like a smoky liner and you want to clean it up a little bit is take a powder foundation. This is from One Size, it's the white one. You could just use a regular shade though, and then you could just put that right under the wing or whatever shape you're doing. Just makes it look a little bit cleaner. So I do have a little bit of fallout going on now. I'm noticing it looks like it's one of the darker shades. I believe it was probably the purple haze shade that we smoked on the lash line that just gave me the fallout. So let's see about cleaning that up. I'm just gonna take a fluffy brush. Oh no, it's that cream highlight. It just stuck right onto it. So the areas where I don't have the highlight, it just flicked away really easily, which is great. I just recommend doing your creams if you have them on your face after. I don't feel like these are shadows that you necessarily need to do before your foundation, because using my fingers for the other shades, there wasn't really any fallout. I don't think it's going to be a big issue unless you're really maybe going heavy with some of the darker shades. So I have one of these Make Beauty. These are their Continuum waterproof gel liners, which are amazing, by the way. This is the shade Halo, which is really reminding me of Quartz. Let me put it next to it so it's easier to tell. I feel like they're really similar shades. So I want to use this on my waterline. I usually don't love deeper shades on my waterline, but this one is, I feel like, cool enough and soft enough that it actually looks really pretty with the rest of the eyeshadows. So glad I picked that one out. Go ahead and curl the lashes. This is the Rougher Lash Curler, or I like to call it an eye prison. I think a really nice smoky voluminous mascara will be pretty with this. I'm gonna use my Maybelline Sky High in brown. So while I'm applying this, I know you probably heard me say this about a lot of different like eyeshadows or eyeshadow palettes. The one thing that I would love is just a very light white, like even a silvery shade, just to use on the inner corners and as a brow bone highlight. Like if you have medium to deeper skin, like I think you could use that champagne shade. But if you're very pale like me, I would just love a super light shade if I were to add a color to this collection. Do a little lip combo. I'm gonna use the e.l.f. Fill Frontal. This was from the Jennifer Coolidge collection, which is actually this really beautiful like neutral brown. They're also incredibly affordable. I don't think they sell them in stores. Maybe that's why they were able to make them so freaking affordable, but they're beautiful lip liners. They're just like a classic wooden pencil. Apply beautifully. And I think I actually want to use one of these new Chantecaille. This is like their new Sea Turtle collection. It's so cute. I'll have to use it in a upcoming video. It's the shade Coral Vine, just a nice pretty pink. They smell so good, and I usually don't like fragrance lip products. And these are the Lip Chic formulas, I believe. Yes. so really creamy and balmy. I am loving this eye look. I think it's so pretty, and just look at that reflect. It's that perfect smooth like metal look. I think the packaging is beautiful. These are really gorgeous. I wasn't really expecting to like these as much as I am, because they are like a little bit pricey just for a single eyeshadow, but I think it fits well within the Make brand, and it's better than like a palette of maybe a bunch of shades you won't use as often. You could just pick out one shade that you know you're gonna love. And for me, if I were to pick one, it's definitely the Quartz shade. If you love a cool tone, even if you don't, this would be like a great intro, because it's just that really wearable, beautiful like stone color. I think it's so flattering and pretty. If you do like something a little bit like more neutrally warm like I have on the inner corner, this Glaze shade is also gorgeous. But if you weren't interested in the neutrals either, I think one of the deeper shades just as like an eyeliner, perfection. I think a lot of eyeshadow formulas in my mind sort of blend together because they're so similar. This one really does stand out to me because it's an indescribable feeling, almost like it just feels like a cream or liquid eyeshadow almost. Like it's so creamy. It doesn't really have that powderiness to it. I didn't get a ton of fallout. There was that little bit, but it cleaned up pretty easily. And I just really like how they are pigmented enough that you can wear them together like I did and they still stand on their own, and you can see that there's multiple shades on my eyes, but they're also going to be gorgeous just on their own. Thinking to some other sort of pressed pigments or single eyeshadows that I have in my collection, I think these are better. I'm thinking of like the Victoria Beckham pressed pigments, which I do like. Those are on the drier side and they're a little bit just more like shimmery and can be more flaky. So if you like something that's smoother and super creamy, I think these would be a better option. The Bodyography glitter pigments, these are honestly just as gorgeous, a little bit smoother as well. I did just try the Make Beauty single eyeshadow, which had a really gorgeous shade similar to this. I think I still like this one a little bit better just because it's a hint smoother. That one was like super smooth as well though. They're really similar though. That's a tough call. Maybe just play it by which shade you like better. I really like the nice big pan size in these because you can really just get in with your finger, because that's how I like to apply eyeshadows, or you can use a brush. Speaking of brushes, I think these are really nice, beautiful brushes. They feel extremely high quality with these nice gold ends and just fluffy bristles. I don't think they're totally necessary to use the eyeshadows, especially if you already have something similar, but if you're looking for brushes, I do think they're really nice. They're quite weighted as well, which I think adds to the like luxurious feel of them. I will wear these till the end of the day and pop a little wear update in the description below to let you know if they like crease extra or anything weird happens. I do have the eye primer on and have quite oily eyelids, so we'll see how everything works out. But it was so fun to try these out. Let me know if you want to see me try some of the other shades in another video. I hope you found this helpful and enjoyable. I would love to know what your favorite shade in this collection is. But thank you for watching. There will be another video here so we can keep hanging out. I will see you there. Bye.